All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Omchain Talks. We will require a few minutes of yours while others are joining. So stay tuned for a few minutes. I don't know why the music is not playing. So let's hope that everyone joins. Welcome, Clement. How are you? Can you hear me loud and clear?
Hi, Osman. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you guys hear me?
Yep. We can hear you as well. All right, it's awesome. Um, let's just wait for a few minutes and then we can get started with today's topic. I am really excited to talk about topic because a lot of people say different things about crypto assets, the future of blockchain, is cryptocurrency exchanges. So I hope that today is gonna be a really nice conversation for both us as well as the audience.
Agreed. To be honest, I'm excited as well. Just think that this is one of the most prominent Turkish community that I know, and I also sent out the invite to a few of my friends who I met in Turkey last year. So yeah, waiting to get started, and nice to speak to you, Osman.
All right, awesome. So, before we get started, would you like to tell us more about your background in crypto? Like, how did you get involved with currencies or blockchain? Like, is there a story behind, or you just receive a job offer and you were like, okay, well, I'll take it because it pays good, or like, what was the story behind you joining to crypto?
Okay, it's actually an interesting one. So asking. So I'm from the financial services industry, and basically I was working in a financial services institution for more than 5 years. The first time that I got into crypto was I think around 2017. So at the point of time, as you know, is when all the ICO craze was happening. So I lost a little bit of money during the ICO times, and because I was financial services, at the point of time there was a very exciting project called XRP. And if you guys know and remember, I remember it vividly still. XRP was basically the one who many people would say would overtake Bitcoin at that point of time because of its ledger and because of it being like a game changer in finance. So I bought it at quite a high price, lost a lot of money, and fast forward today, I joined Coinstore Exchange. It was only like 30 employees. Right now we have about 200 employees worldwide. So personally, my journey towards crypto is a pretty unfortunate one because I've been losing some money. But the journey towards corporate crypto, I think, started late 2021. And I think what I've seen in this space is really a lot of friendly people who want to make game changing products, game changing tech. And like Omchain, I think Omchain is going to do huge things. So really looking forward to see what Omchain is going to do and develop, as well as to the ecosystem is going to be like. And I like that you guys have a lot of activity in the space, especially hosting Omchain Talks as well. So yeah, just a short background and a short introduction about what my journey is like in crypto.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I mean, you said one interesting thing. You said that you have lost money when you first got in. I think this is very common with most of the people because usually, if you check news from Twitter, especially about cryptocurrencies, you will see that often people share their P&Ls, their positions, and their profits. But you never see when people lose money and go and share that they have lost money. So people have maybe I can say a false image of cryptocurrencies. Often people assume that it's a world where everyone is making money, whereas it's usually not the real case. So it's understandable, and it's also I think important for the audience to understand that if you want to build a career on blockchain, cryptocurrencies, or Web3, or cryptocurrency exchanges, you don't have to be like this awesome trader who is doing a lot of good trades, and then yeah, you start working on some exchange or some other platform. All you have to do is like you have to understand the field, you have to understand the crypto space, and then you have to decide what you want to do and how you want to contribute to that space. And I think understanding that helps a lot for people who are willing to build a career on Web3. We have been having Omchain talks for over a few months now. This is I can say combined with the season one, maybe 20th episode, maybe 21st episode. I hope that those on-chain talks would be helpful to people to understand the different aspects of crypto ecosystem. And today, that's why we're going to be talking about the future of crypto. So, Clement, I just want to know your personal opinion on this matter. Like, when you meet with a client, and especially, you're working at a cryptocurrency exchange, when you meet with a client for the first time, or when you meet with someone for the first time who has no experience in crypto, who just wants to learn more about the crypto, what are the top questions that you receive? Like, are they asking about the security of it, or are they seeing it as a Ponzi scheme? Are they seeing it as a alternative investment, or like, what is their approach actually? What is their perspective? If you have insight on that, I really would like to learn, because if we're talking about the future of crypto, it's an how do I say, it's necessary to understand the people's perspective today.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Osman, for the question. So in my line of work, as a doing business development, most of the people that I meet, if you are talking about clients, are people who they probably want to start a crypto project, or they are like a project owner, or probably they are trying to do something in the crypto space. And like what you said previously, most people have this perception that if you're into crypto, people make like a lot of money, and like the impression is basically like, oh, you're gonna make $1 million or something like that. I think that perception was because of, most probably in the bull run, when a lot of people they make millions out of nothing, probably like they just put in like $10 or $20 and then they make $1 million. I mean, we've seen stories like that happening a lot during the bull run. And like you said, not a lot of people they show their P&L whereby they are losing money. So whenever we speak to clients, personally, I think some of the questions that may come to me are things like, what example, like how the exchange can support them. What do I think are like things to look out for when they are designing the tokenomics of their projects? What sort of marketing angle can we use so that we can promote our project better to the community? So in my opinion, I think that most of the time, when we started out as a younger exchange, right? Obviously, the people who wanted to come on the exchange were people like, they want to make a quick buck out of crypto. They want to create a crypto project, they want to list on an exchange, and then they just want to start making money. Because compared to the traditional finance side of things, if let's say you want to IPO a company on a stock exchange, the process probably takes like 1 year or 2 years. You have to go to an auditor to keep track of your books, make sure that your accounts are balanced, and then you can list on a stock market. Whereas for a crypto exchange, is all you need to do is you build up a strong community, make sure your security is tight, make sure that your concept sounds good, have a good narrative, have a good marketing, and basically you can list on exchange. So more often than not, we see a lot of budding project owners where they don't really understand crypto. They don't really understand what Web3 is. And I think most of the times they always ask us this one same question: how much money can we make? So I try to always tell them that that shouldn't be the end goal, that shouldn't be the mindset. The mindset should be, what can I change in the crypto space? Because I think right now everyone who is involved in this industry is at a very good position, because right now we are still sort of like in a sunrise industry. And meaning to say, adoption is the end goal, right? What I mean by adoption, in my opinion, is when our lifestyle would need to more. So if you ask me like the questions, to be honest, sometimes it's quite ridiculous, but I try more often than not to change people's mindset. And I hope that moving forward in the near future, we have really serious players to really come in the space and educate people, and also build strong products. At the end of the day, crypto prices are one thing, the tech is another. The community is also something that would be a very important factor. And I think that is why, when I was in Turkey last year, I was in Istanbul, and I had the chance to sort of attend a off-chain Istanbul meetup. So I was quite surprised, because at that point of time, I was already in the corporate side of things, in like the crypto business for almost 7 to 8 months. So prior to Istanbul, what I see a lot of networking parties were basically like just drinks, people mingling around, trying to do business. But when I was in Istanbul, and when I went to this off-chain meeting, what happened was that actually the setting was like more of a classroom setting, and there were a couple of speakers trying to, share about their project, what are they trying to do, how game changing their project may be. So yeah, I think I was honestly quite impressed with Turkey, and what I think Turkey's community in Web3, and how Turkey is trying to develop its crypto community. So I think Omchain being in Turkey as well, having a strong Turkish community is definitely one of the major talking points moving forward. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, yeah, it answers clearly, and you have touched a few great points that I also would like to mention. One thing that you said about the events in Turkey, I think the difference is because if I look at the economics in the world, I can see that some countries have, above average income, like especially the Western countries, countries is in the Eastern region of the world as well. Life is kind of easier if you're if you're living in a country where most of the things are secured, like you can reach healthcare, like education is free and so on. But if you look at some of the how do I say, mid-income or low-income countries, and considering the recent economical crisis in Turkey, I can say that crypto is a thing that unites all the people in the world, because when you're working in a cryptocurrency project, you don't even have to be at the, how do I say, same location. You don't even have to have a bank account. You don't even have to speak the same language. You can have a project that is that has developer team in the United States, and then designer team somewhere in Singapore, for example, and then you can have business development team from Africa, and you can combine all those people together to bring up a real life product that is adding value to people's lives. So in that sense, I am seeing and I am understanding that if, in a country, if people are not making as much money as the developed countries, they see crypto as a way to, how do I say, exit that cycle, to exit from their current financial situation. So that's why I also believe that crypto adoption, understanding of what you can build, and understanding how you can add value, and understanding how you can make money in the blockchain ecosystem, especially in those low income countries, can help people to earn their financial freedom. So that's why I think events in Turkey are more in the way of education, training, learning, because if you compare those two things, one of them is kind of like a stray cat. I don't want to say stray cat to Turkish people, but it's just the analogy. One of them is like a stray cat who has to hunt, find food, and maybe give birth on the street and take care of their kittens. And the other one is just a pet cat that's living in the house, knows that food is going to be there at all times, and they're being taken care of. So I am always having that analogy in my mind. That's why it's easy for me to understand the situation. Again, one more thing that you mentioned. Often people assume that cryptocurrency projects as well as exchanges are making a lot of money. As a guy who is sitting in the CEO chair of a cryptocurrency project, I can say that no, cryptocurrency projects do not make a lot of money. And often, most of them, I can say 99%, 98% of them are losing money because they have received some investment from either selling their tokens or by partnering up with some VCs, and then they start spending that money, and they hope that their end product becomes adopted and starts utilized enough in maybe the next few years so that they can make money. And if you go to Coin Market Cap right now, there are like 23,000 projects, but I bet that maybe 1,000 of them, at most 2,000 of them, are still alive. At least at most 2,000 of them are still being developed. All the other projects that are listed there, 20,000 of them, 21,000 of them, they're kind of dead projects that are just being traded on smaller exchanges. But again, as I said, if you're looking to build a career on blockchain or Web3, or build a cryptocurrency project, it's not get rich quick scheme. It's There is no such way. I mean, Clement, you should also be seeing from the projects that you're talking or from your experience. Often people just come and say, "Hey, I want to build a cryptocurrency project because I heard that you can raise $500,000." And I'm asking the question like, who's gonna give you the $500,000? And then they're like, no, but I heard that this exchange has this, Launchpad project, and some other project collected $2 million. And I'm like, okay, they might have collected that money, but what makes you think that you can collect that money? And usually the answer is just silence. So again, if people start, if people still think that it's the easiest way that they can make money, I'm looking at it from the positive side. I can still say that, okay, if people think that they can money from that business, that means that crypto is still going to grow. Because think about it from the same perspective. If you think that every restaurant owner is making a lot of money, then you think about opening a restaurant as well, until you realize restaurants are a really risky investment. So the same goes for crypto, I think.
Yeah, I agree, and I like that you made a few really nice analogies, like the stray cat and the cat in the house. I think that's a very nice analogy to make. And in fact, in Southeast Asia, I think there are some countries who have similar situation compared to Turkey's economic stance as well. So, like for example, countries like Indonesia, basically countries who they have like lower GDP, they are more involved in the crypto scene as we see. And yeah, I think that what I really like about some of these places is that if you go there, the people there are more serious into trying to make a thing for themselves in the industry. And also, when you mention opening the restaurant as a project owner, I think I always like to use these kinds of analogy as well. For example, if let's say you were to open a stall in a very crowded shopping center, most of the time, if let's say your food or your items are not something that's very appealing or very popular, no one would still come into your store as well. So sometimes when I hear people saying that, oh, I just want to make so much money from crypto and I just want to build a project and then list on a top tier exchange, they don't understand the basic fundamental of what a community is. Community is everything in crypto, in my opinion. And to really build a strong enough community and to also engage with the community is super important. And that's why I think like for you guys, you have like the DAO voting, you have this session in place. It's really important to engage with your community as well, and that is something that I really appreciate. So yeah.
I mean, the one thing that people are missing usually, and the one thing that I am seeing, as I was previously saying, people say, "Oh, okay, this project has been, launched, and they collected $500,000." But if you ask them, they are saying, "Yes, I collected 500K from 5,000 different people." That means that at that instant moment, you have both 5,000 clients and both 5,000 investors. The reason why they're clients is that they're going to be using your product, and you hope that they spend those tokens so that you can make money off of from their transactions. And on the other hand, if they don't sell your token, if they're holding it or they're trading, they are your investors. So in cryptocurrencies, usually if you have a product that is utilizing tokens, you have both clients, both investors ready at the T0, like in your first day of launch. And usually crypto projects don't even have a product ready, and because they're like raising fund, and then they spend that 6 months to build the product, and then after 6 months, after 1 year, the product is launched and everything is live, and the product meets with the market. But again, if you think about it, for 6 years, for 8 years, for maybe 10 months, sorry, for 6 months, 7 months, maybe for like 1 year, you have both investors and customers without a product, without a business that is generating profit. So it's really, how do I say, a hard thing to manage a cryptocurrency project, as well as hard to understand the community, because it's not book lovers society. Because if it was book lovers society, if the book is bad, people would just say like, okay, let's just not read it. If the book is good, everyone would be happy, and so on. But here people actually put their real money into that community. So because people put money into that community, sometimes things might go out of hand. People might be frustrated when the token prices fluctuate a lot. And it's also really important to understand these people's mindsets. I think for anyone out there who is willing to build a cryptocurrency project or list their token on an exchange, they should first understand the people that they're going to be promoting this project, and understand the user base of the exchange. Because I think, Clement, you also have experience with this. People from different regions of the world have different expectations from the cryptocurrencies. I can personally say that Turkish people would like to see the price only go up. They would be stressed a lot more compared to the other people from different regions of the world when the token price goes down. And a lot of the times they just out of stress or out of fear of missing out, they make intentional buys or intentional sells or intentional trading. So that's, I think, one thing that's about the Turkey, and that's one thing that every cryptocurrency project owners should be keeping in their mind if they're planning something like that. Would you like to add anything on that matter?
Yeah, Osman, I totally agree with you. And to be honest, it's not just people in Turkey. It's actually, to me, the whole world. People panic when the price go down, and people want to, FOMO in when the price goes up. And price is always like a determinant factor of whether a project is good or not. But we have a saying in traditional finance, the stock market is like a weighing scale. If the product is good enough, then it should meet the fair value. So price would always return to its fair value if, let's say, the product is good. So I would tell the people listening to this Omchain Talks that just believe in the project, stick to it. It may take months, it may take years, but I think if, let's say, you trust the team, you trust the product, you trust the process, then you shouldn't worry.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think with today's topic, it kind of makes sense because if this was happening maybe 5 years ago, we would be talking completely different things. But now that I am seeing the existing cryptocurrency marketplace, most of the people who have lost money in the past now learn more about how to evaluate the cryptocurrency project. I now have like maybe 2 years ago, people were not asking too much about the project. People were not asking us too much about the white paper, tokenomic details, and the product and the target market and so on. But now I can see that people are asking more and more of those questions, and we get less questions about the token price or what's the price target. So I think looking at the future of crypto, I can think that m- even if it's like slow, people's perception or people's understanding of crypto is changing. Yes, still most of the people out there are seeing this as a way of investment or as a way of to get richer. But I can also see that there are a lot of different products that are being built just like ours. There are like decentralized social media protocols that are different DeFi protocols. There are different distributed decentralized identity protocols out there being built, and there's a lot of different cryptocurrency exchanges being launched. So I am like, if a lot of people in the world are right now investing both their money and time into crypto products, I can confidently say that this field is going to be growing. This field is not going to be there. So, one more thing I want to ask you about, if you have no additions to that, Clement, maybe I can ask and then you can make additions and then answer the question. What are the things that excite you in the cryptocurrency ecosystem? Like, we had the ICOs, we had the tokens, we had the NFTs, and then we had some, different things that could be traded. We had the, gaming trend. What are the things that you're seeing right now that are exciting you?
Okay, thanks, Osman, for the question. And to go back to your previous statement about, you know, um, investors, the community being more smart, I totally agree. In the past, maybe a couple of months ago, we see a lot of people asking about the price. But right now, I do see more people trying to, ask about the product, the solution. And I think what we are seeing in the world right now is that people are getting more savvy, getting smarter, wanting to learn a little bit more about crypto, wanting to learn little bit more about blockchain technology. And yeah, it's a good sign towards mass adoption. So coming back to your question, what I am currently seeing right now, I think the future crypto is there's too much possibilities, right? 1 year or 2 year ago, or back 2 years ago, we see like the NFT craze, we see metaverse projects coming up, we see people starting to sell virtual lands, and I think a couple of months back, I even hear from top exchanges that they are super invested into SocialFi. We also saw DeFi summer happen. So I would say that right now, it seems as though that a lot of mainnet are coming out. Like you have your Aptos, you have your Sui, you have your ZK. So a lot of all these new solutions, a lot of these new infrastructures are coming out. And what I think we would see in a couple of months' time is that more and more organizations are, going to come up with their own layer ones or their own layer twos, and we even see a company coming up with a layer zero solution. So I think that in the next couple of months, crypto is a very important thing because, like, I mean, you guys as also a layer one itself, right? A EVM compatible one. We need to see more products and more infrastructures being able to communicate with each other and being more interoperable as ever. I think this way, not only can we increase more adoption, we can also increase more what I call lifestyle usage. So, what I mean by this, just imagine in China itself. Do you know that in China, most people they don't have or they don't carry cash? What they do is they just have their mobile phones and they just pay using Alipay or WeChat Pay. So different countries have different standard of practice, right? In Singapore, we are not so advanced yet. We still use Apple Pay and cash sometimes. I think moving forward, if let's say more infrastructures are in place and then more people can build more software, build more interesting products there, and then we can see more adoption happening. So not only that, I think in a couple of months' time, regulations will play a big part in crypto. We see in July that the US is coming up with Fed now, and right now seems as though Coinbase is going to exit US. I think if I'm not wrong, just a couple of days back, they we're gonna sue SEC or something. I thought that was pretty interesting. And right now, I think just a couple of hours ago, SEC just released a statement saying that most cryptocurrencies are securities. So to me, US in the US, right, crypto is dead. Crypto is dead in the US. I think most big companies, most developers are gonna move to Europe, are gonna move to Asia, and from there I would really see what's gonna happen. What do you think, Oscar?
I think the main problem here is with the SEC's definition of securities, because like one thing that they try to do is the protect the investor, right? If you're investing in some security, there are some laws and regulations. This is not specific to the U.S. This is this is valid for every other country or every other security in the world. The number one rule is the protect the, how do I say, investor, so that investors do not lose because someone is running a rug pull, someone is running a scheme, someone is doing some money laundering, and so on. So it's good that some things are being regulated. But on the other hand, if SEC thinks that everything is security, I mean, our understanding of existing securities like ETFs, bonds, and different stuff are completely different than what we have in crypto. Because in crypto, it's not just some $1 million, $1 billion company trying to sell their stocks or shares. It might be something very simple. It might be some college students coming up together, raising only maybe $30,000, $50,000 fund and kickstarting a project. I can understand that cryptocurrencies, most of them are being considered as securities. I have no problem with that, but I personally think that there should be another framework, another regulatory framework that is going to be evaluating the cryptocurrency projects. I mean, on one side, I agree with them because you also know it. You're working with a cryptocurrency exchange. You would be seeing a lot of scam projects, a lot of anonymous team members trying to rug pull people, and they're like going out and reaching to exchanges and trying to list their project so that once it's listed they can dump the tokens on the other investors. A lot of those bad problems happen, but if you look at it from a fair perspective, you also realize that regular securities, like the ones that are considered as securities by the SEC, they also have those same problems. They also have the insider trading. They also have people going to jail because they were doing some illegal activities on the security. So it's not about the instrument, it's not about the asset, it's not about the crypto. I think it's about the bad people. It's not about everyone. So I think that we should have another regulatory framework here so that both the individuals, like as an end user, if I want to buy a cryptocurrency, I would like to know that this project has been checked by at least some experts or checked by some exchange team members, so that I can confidently take that risk. I'm not saying I can confidently buy that crypto asset and make money. I'm saying I can confidently take that risk, the risk that associated with the cryptocurrency's price or the demand of the token, and I can hope to invest my money into that cryptocurrency and hope to money. But again, as I said, I've been into crypto for over 10 years now. I have seen a lot of times people, making news, even the Financial Times and everything, saying that, Bitcoin is dead, Bitcoin is dying, it's of cryptocurrencies, it's a bubble. And I'm like, it's been how many years? It's been 10 years, 12 years. So over the last 10, 12 years, a lot of banks in the US also collapsed. So that doesn't mean that the US banking system is a bubble, even though it's actually a real bubble. It's the definition of a bubble, where people are literally putting their money, and then that put money into the bank goes to some people who have previously deposited that money. And then, that other money is being loaned to other people. And then over time, over 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, when the bank does not have enough liquidity, it collapses. So if you're going to, start hunting bubbles and, risky businesses, I think SEC should first, start with the existing banking system, because at the end we have high inflation in the world right now. That is thanks to the banking system. At least in crypto, I can see the total supply of the project. I can see the total issuance. Even with our cryptocurrency project, anyone can right now go to explorer.omchain.io and see all the cryptocurrency wallets, all the transactions being done on the blockchain, and understand that, okay, this is like, what I was expecting, and that's it. There are no shady businesses, there are no undocumented transactions, nothing, because everything is on the blockchain.
Yeah, agree. And like what you said, there are a lot of rug pulls happening. In fact, even recently, we see a lot of meme projects making a comeback. Personally, I love meme projects because I lost a lot of money in them. So it is nice to know that there are some coming onto exchange and so on. And but I think like what you say is true, Osman. You say that maybe like the governments right now they should have another framework to sort of regulate some of the cryptocurrencies as well. In my opinion, I think what the government are facing right now is that they are trying to scramble to understand what cryptocurrency is. I mean, based on my perspective, in the end of the day, if let's say we are saying like the US dollar or the Turkish lira, why we are using this money is because it's of its perceived value, right? Because the government enforces us to use it. Whereas cryptocurrency is something that people are just adopting so that they can use this to basically do whatever they want. So like most people they buy into a cryptocurrency project, it's because they believe in it, and that's where the perceived value goes up. And I think it's the same for like Bitcoin, right? Most people they buy Bitcoin because right now the perceived value of Bitcoin is really high. It's a storage or it's a store of value and so on. Basically it's the empowerment of decentralization. So yeah, I think and most people they especially who are really experienced in the cryptocurrency industry, people who they know crypto, they definitely won't want to work in the government sector. So most people who like you and me, we are really into the industry, right? We are passionate about crypto. It's highly unlikely that we will work for anyone in the government because we believe in some sort of decentralization. We also believe that regulation should be in place. And I would say that if let's say we step in the shoes of the government body, the regulators, most of them don't really understand what even cryptocurrency, what blockchain is, what Web3 is about. So I think like maybe if we are talking about the future of crypto, one important thing would be we need better people in the government bodies, the government organizations. This way, more people can start to understand it on a lawmaker level. From there, if let's say we sort of have a voice and something to say in lawmaking, then probably we can see more advancement into cryptocurrencies. And I think in maybe the next few months, this really would be seen more. And I mean, we've always been talking about CBDCs, right? And how CBDCs, most of the countries in the world will come up with their CBDCs. But then again, I think most government bodies are also struggling to see it too soon, because if they do, the impact in terms of the monetary policies, fiscal policies will greatly be affected. So maybe moving forward, I don't know, we can perhaps see more cryptocurrency projects appear, and from there, more people adopt cryptocurrencies with their own tokens and so on. I even saw someone who created his own currency. For example, his name is Aaron. He created Aaron token, and he's trying to see more people would adopt it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think the main problem about the government now that you mentioned, I can be a little political. I'm not gonna go into too much politics. One problem that I am seeing, especially in Turkey and some of the other countries that I know or have consulted, worked with, the problem is that you can get, let's say, a financial advisor in US for, let's say, $300 $400 an hour. So that you give this guy $300 $400 to get some financial advice. Whereas if you look at the US government, they're not paying as much as, they're paying to private counselors or investigators in that manner. So what ends up being is that usually people working for the government are not as qualified as the working in with sectors or other businesses. So that's why usually we get better products, we get better services from private country companies than the governments. But if you look at it from the citizen's perspective, like you're paying a lot of taxes and you're maybe investing $10,000 $20,000, maybe you're investing $1 million or even more. So it's your right to be asking from government that cryptocurrencies or other risky investment assets are regulated and in a way that they are often being audited or checked on. So that's one problem about the governance, I think. And the other problem that I am seeing is that we usually associate the understanding of money with the government that we have. But you look at it from an objective perspective, you realize that you go and work for someone or do your own business, you make some effort, and then you make some money that allows you to buy some food, allows you to pay your rent, allows you to access different services and products, and so on. Your hard it's your hard earned money that you made with your hard work, and then the receiver on the other hand is someone that is providing some service. So there is no government interaction between those two things or in the transaction. So why should a government have a saying on that value? Because one thing, like government was not doing for me to provide some consulting services or write a software program. And even if I am paying my tax on top of that, after me paying my tax, why is government trying to decide on a monetary policy for me? So that's the main problem that we're arguing right now, and I think that's the main problem why everyone is having problems with the existing financial systems. I mean, I personally would want to have my freedom to trade with someone living in another after paying my taxes, because I understand I have to pay some taxes to have that infrastructure, have those government websites when I can get my legal documents and papers and so on, and to get some services from the government. But after I pay my taxes, what I do with my money or what I do with my financial wealth is no one's business. So I think the main problem with the governments and existing monetary policies is that often I am seeing that citizens do not understand that distinction, and I am like, it's the same with religion. I mean, government, yes, should be providing you some safe space where you can believe in something and practice your religious beliefs if you want. And the same thing goes for money, because money and religion, there are things that are completely different from the government. There are those are the things that should have no ties with politics. But often politicians like to take credit on many things that do. So often in underdeveloped countries especially, they would go and talk a lot about religious stuffs, and they would talk a lot about financial stuffs. So I think as humans, as citizens of our country, first we should understand that my religion and my money has nothing to do with the government. Once we have that mindset, I think we can understand what crypto is offering to us, and what and how crypto could be beneficial for us.
Yeah, agree. Totally agree with you. And I think that's why, like, coming back to the topic, future of crypto, right, Osman, is, yeah, we really need to see what we think would be more decentralization, more, basically, what more understanding of what Web3 is about. I mean, Web3 basically is to create, to own your own content, to have a say, right? To me, that's what Web3 is, to have a say in whatever we chose to do. And I think, like, coming back to some of, like what you mentioned, some of the government bodies, and like what you say about religion and what you say about money. At the end of the day, what we are looking for is something that we can fall back on, something that we can fully trust 100%. And that is why I think like some of the crypto projects that we see in the past. They had so much traction, they had so much trust, and ultimately they just failed their community. I think like one very big incident was last year, right, when we saw the crash of Luna. I was a big fan of Luna as well, and they called themselves lunatics. So I also bought into Luna early, and sad to say I didn't cash out in time. But what I would say is that yeah, it's always like people like that in the industry who cause all these kind of unrest, cause all these kind of issues in our community, and that's why we have what we have today. So yeah, Osman, I just wanted to hear a little bit more from you as well, and like what do you think in like maybe a couple of months what we can expect to see?
um because I am also software developer, for the last few weeks I am receiving a lot of different requests from different government entities. I can say that not only from Turkey, some small governments in the African region as well. Some of them are local governments, some of them are like nation governments. And I am seeing that they're looking to build on some blockchain infrastructure, because usually the problem is with the corruption. They're like, hey, we have this centralized database, but we have a lot of bribery, we have a lot of corruption in our country, and people are modifying that database. And we want to switch something with the blockchain so that no one can modify it, no one can take advantage of their power or position. So and again, just like you have said a few minutes ago about the new layer ones and new scalability solutions, I see and think that it's the way to go right now, because when the DeFi summer happened, when the NFT hype happened, we saw that transaction prices going like $30, $50, $300, just to transfer some NFT from just to transfer some NFT between cryptocurrency wallets. So this is of course something that cannot be relied on if you're working with some government, and citizens are every day making transactions. It's not cost effective. It's not something that you can rely on, and that's why they're looking at different solutions. They're looking at different layer ones, or even they're looking at their own private blockchain network and what to use on their private blockchain. They come to us because we have the experience on running a blockchain. We have the experience on developing smart contracts. We have the experience on building products that can run on blockchain, that can communicate with blockchain. So I could say that over the last 10 years, maybe in 2016, 2017, I had some requests from different government entities about blockchain technology, and then they were put on a shelf. They were like waiting, and now I can say that starting with 2023, I am seeing a lot of interest on blockchain products, both from businesses as well as government entities. So I can see that in the near future, maybe not next few months, but maybe next few years, we will see governments employing blockchain-based infrastructure, and hopefully we will see some citizens having a mobile application that comes with a built-in cryptocurrency wallet, so that they can do they can get on a bus, they can have their utilities associated with their wallet, can perhaps have their bank accounts associated with their cryptocurrency wallet, and so on. So my expectation is not related to tokens, not related to cryptocurrencies, but overall is an infrastructure that is provided by either governments or large enterprises.
Yeah, definitely. And like what you say, the governments they may take a few years to adopt the infrastructure. It's funny you say that because normally government people are always very slow to do things. But it's nice to know that Osman, you and your team are creating more infrastructure for all these government people, all these businesses, and I totally agree with you. I think the next step towards crypto is more infrastructure in place, more of these use cases for blockchain technology and so on.
Yeah, I think, like, I want to add one thing. I don't want to sound too wrong. So it's like with our case, we're just like, hey, okay, these are the specifications. We can give you the POC or MVP product over, let's say, 2 weeks. And they're like, but no, we cannot schedule a meeting for 2 weeks. How about 2 months? I am like, I should be the one who is postponing the project, because I am the one who's building it. But I am faster as the builder than the people working for that government entity, or government employees. We're as a team, we're faster than them. We're like, the product is ready and it waits for your evaluation. and then they take 2 months, and they're like, okay, this fits our needs, so what's the next step? And we're like, next week we can give you that. And they're like, no, 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 let's just make it next month. Because I think it's about the mindset. When it's your own business, or when it's in, some other business than a government entity, you're every day that you're not making money, you're actually losing money, because you have to pay your employees, you have to pay your rent, you have a lot of different things, and you have to make money to sustain that business. Whereas for government entities, they, I think, never think about those things. They never think about how much money is being spent. I mean, like, of course they have their budgets and so on, but that budget is being funded by citizens, being funded by some private investors or some business owner. So that's why, while we're pushing things as fast as possible to just be sustainable, we see that often means they just want to make take things slow. And also one more problem, it's like, especially in Omchain as well, if you told me something about our marketing or social media, I would try to understand what you're saying, I would listen, I would take notes, and then I would be like, go to our, let's say, marketing guy, and be like, hey, we had this feedback from Clement, he was mentioning those things. Even though I don't understand what he was saying, you should be checking whether he's right, he's wrong, whether it could be beneficial for us. And I would hope to arrange a meeting with that person and you. But if I look at the government employees, I mean, like, not all of them, but most of the ones that I have met with, they're like, if you say something, they're like, I am sorry, but this is not my business, you have to go through this person. And I am like, that person, you know how to communicate with that person better than I do, and you could be passing on this work. But usually it's not the case. It's everyone is dedicated to their own work, dedicated to their own business description. So that's why I think if there is something that is not defined in any of those employees' business descriptions, then the thing is left to hang. So I think that's why things are slower, and of course they have to get some approvals as well, and have their legal things checked up. But I think overall, the future of crypto is looking really nice, and I hope that in a few years, cryptocurrency wallets will be in a different phase where we don't have to, memorize our seed letters. At least there would be some sort of insurance, and at least some of the products out there in the market would be, user friendly, like that. You can log in with Magic Link, you can, log in using your socials and so on. So those are my actual expectations.
Yeah, I agree with you, Osman. And like what you said, maybe sometimes when we speak to some of these people, they would say that, hey, is that's not my pay grade. I can't decide on that, or like that's not really my problem. So things, take longer to approve. And I think like coming back to future of crypto, like the metaverse, DAO systems are still to me slightly premature. I think how it can develop over time in the next couple of years may be a bit interesting. Who knows? Maybe we can have a DAO system in the government as well, and then people can start sending proposals, have a consensus as well. So, not too sure if that is possible at all, but I would like to see that happening. And let's see. I think exciting times ahead for the future of crypto. Of course, everyone is still looking for what's the next moonshot, what's the next 1000x, but let's all focus on infrastructure, tech, community, and let's see what we can bring.
Come on, Clement. I was expecting you would come here and say, "Hey guys, invest in this meme coin, and like, your $100 is gonna be $1 million." Now that our audience is, a little sad. Oh my God, we were hoping that we could get rich quick today. Jesus.
Yeah, not financial advice, guys. But buy Omchain. I'm sure it will moon in like tomorrow.
Jesus, guys, this was not scripted. I didn't ask him to say this. I was just trying to make a joke, and then, you know, not a financial advice. We don't tell people to sell tokens. If you, like Chain, if you like the theme, if you like what we're building, you can go and check it out. So overall, I think, yeah, but those systems that you mentioned, I think as citizens, first we have to understand what is a government and what are our rights, because again, it all comes down to that point, because the governments out there should be protecting their citizens and at least representing their wills and wishes and their vision for the future of that country. Usually we see that, usually we see governments above us, but actually if you look at it, it's something that we formed. It's literally something that I formed. I voted for some political party and so on. So everyone right now listening to in their own countries, I think DAO voting systems in the future, not impossible, It's gonna be hard for now with the existing technologies, but I hope that in the next 10 years, 15 years, we will have more democratic ways to solve things. Because again, in crypto too, we changed the understanding of how a business can work. Even with the COVID, we realized that we can work from home and we can get the same amount of or even more job done in shorter time with less effort because we are working from home. So just like how COVID showed us that businesses could be run in a different way, I think crypto and technologies being developed in that space will show us how even the governance or understanding of money could be different than what we think of it right now. So those are the end of my words. Clement, if you have any final additions, if you have anything else to add, because I am seeing the time and we're already almost talking for an hour. I mean, I could talk for another 2 hours, 3 hours. I have time, but I just don't want to bore the audience here. So if you have any additions, feel free to make, and then we can have the closing speech.
Right, sure, Osman. And I would like to say maybe as a closing statement, yeah, I would like to come back to, infrastructure. Everyone is trying to make the next more scalable, more faster, minimum fees infrastructure and have more things in place. Of course, the community is still looking for the next moonshot. So I would say that to all listeners, maybe just find a balance, a good one in terms of speed, in terms of fees, and also a high potential project. So I would say that if let's say we are able to come up with maybe even like a down voting system on what we think are some of the more interesting topics for future for like the future cryptocurrency projects, and we can start voting on that. That could be interesting as well, so that once we sort of have the consensus of what that may be, we can all maybe just start the project on ourselves since you are a developer, Osman. But most importantly, we have to develop that on Omchain. So yeah, I would
Okay,
say that.
okay, guys. Again, this was not scripted. I didn't ask him to say anything about Omchain, so this is just organic. This is just not something that we have done previously. Again, yeah, you're right. I mean, if people are looking at new infrastructures, the community is important, the technology is important, the team and their dedication is important, the team's motivation. I think one of the unspoken things, it's very important, because if the team is not motivated to bring the product to real life, it's also again a flag of of a how can I say, a project that is going to fail in near future. So I think those are the things from the community perspective. If you wish to be a part of our community, you can tap on the Omchain's Twitter profile that you see. It's the host of this show, and you can see the link tree on the bio of Omchain. If you're not following Omchain right now, you can follow the Omchain. If you're not following Clement, you can follow Clement. If you're not following Coinstore as well, you can just type Coinstore and then follow the Coinstore exchange. Because if you want to purchase Omchain, you have to go to Coinstore. So thanks a lot, Clement, for joining us today. I had really awesome. Do you have any last words to the audience?
Osman, I had an awesome time as well, and really appreciate you guys for having me here. Let's all stay in touch. I mean, the most important thing is still the community, and excited to see what Omchain may develop in the near future.
Awesome. Thanks a lot again for joining us, and hope to see you guys soon on another Omchain Talks. Take care.